Hi everyone! Welcome to this week's edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I am very happy that you have found my YouTube channel, Lauren's Scraplot, because I have a gorgeous fall card for you today. Now this card is using the Autumn Tool Suite that you can find in the 2025 Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog. It is a bit of a fun fold and I would love to show you how to do it. So if you own this Autumn Trees bundle, you'll be able to make the card exactly like I've shown. If you don't, perhaps you can still use the idea from this card to use a bundle at your house. Or if you're in Canada, you can shop from my website, laurenurbonis.stampinup.net, and that website is listed at the bottom of this page. So let's get going. We have a few pieces to cut, and then we do have some die cutting to do to get together today, because I want to show you exactly how to get your pieces set up. So the first thing that we need is actually two base pieces. So you'll notice this card opens both to the left and to the right. So we're going to need two pieces to kind of make that mechanism. So they are both measuring 5.5 by 8.5. with score marks down the middle at 4 1/4. On the left, I have Early Espresso. On the right, Very Vanilla. So on the Very Vanilla piece, we're going to do a little bit of embossing. On the Early Espresso piece, we're going to cut both our tree and the tree silhouette. So before we do any of that though, we need to cut a piece of designer series paper for the front of this card, and you'll see why in just a second. So I went with the Autumn Tool Designer Series paper. You can pick whichever design you'd like. This one has all the nice little pumpkins. This one, I'm gonna try the trees and the deer. So this piece here is going to measure 4 by 5 1/4. And this guy, you're going to need to mount onto the front of your Early Espresso card. But most of us love to just put adhesive all over the back of the card. You can't do that for this one. You only can put adhesive around the perimeter of the card, because we're going to cut this tree and other feature out of the middle of that card, and you need it nice and loose. Okay, so grab your tape or grab your seal and do a perimeter on that card base right here, like so. Take your adhesive off if you've got the backings on that tape, and you can mount this right to the front of your card. There should be a slight little border of espresso all the way around the edge, just like so. Now we need the Autumn Trees dies. So you're going to be tempted to try and do both the detailed one and the silhouette at the same time. You can't on this one because we're not doing the detail on our designer series paper. In fact, by the end of the project, you're going to have a tree all by itself that you can use on another project. If you're somebody who is coming to my October card club, you're going to be actually using that extra little piece for one of our projects too. But let's get our cut and emboss machine up here. I do apologize if it takes up most of the desk space, but we're going to get this rolling through just like this. Okay, so I have those two pieces as centered as possible. I'm going to put this through my machine, and yes, it will cut through both pieces. Sometimes you'll want to go forward through the machine and backward through the machine as well, just to make sure both things actually cut. Now, because we didn't put any adhesive in the middle of that silhouette, these two trees should come apart, no problem. There might just be like a tiny little section connected, and that's fine. So this guy you can put aside and use for something in the future. It won't be today. Then you're going to take your brown tree and put this detail die right over top of it. We're going to roll this through so there's a nice amount of detail on this tree here. that should leave us, it's going to leave us a bunch of little pieces. So do this off to the side with a gorgeous tree like so. Okay, now other things that you're going to need to cut while your machine is on the table. You're going to cut some of these I want to put these so you can see them, these leaves. So this is all one die piece. It's going to be, where is it? I lost it. Okay, I must be using it to prep stuff. But in the end, it's going to end up cutting out this entire piece, all in one shot for you. Okay, I wonder, oh, it's right here. I've been busy prepping for class. There we go. That one die piece, and I cut this one out of the new Earth and Tones metallic paper. You can use copper paper if you've got some left over in your stash, or even the metallics foils, either way. Then you're going to cut yourself a little deer for the bottom. See, down here. So this piece I've made, I think about, it's larger than what I need. So what did I do? 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, so start with a 1 3/4 by 4 inch piece, and then you're going to grab your deer die and roll it through like this. Put your deer a little bit off to the side. You will be tempted to kind of center it on this and it would cut all the way. But if you put your deer slightly off so that just this little grass piece is at the end, it will rest in the center of your tree as opposed to kind of slightly over, and it looks a little awkward. So that's just my little tip for you. It doesn't cut right to the edge, but that's what our scissors are for. You can just connect the edge piece. Whoops. Like so. Okay, so there's your deer. You've done, I think, all of your die cutting now at the moment, okay? We did the tree base together, we've done the leaves, and we've done a row of deer. Now you need to emboss, okay? So embossing is just going to be on one of our vanilla pieces, and there's a gorgeous embossing folder called Gathering Leaves. It just came out again with kind of the holiday season. So you're going to grab your specialty plate. It might be purple, it might be gray, depending on when you bought it. You're going to grab that vanilla piece of cardstock, and then you're going to grab that full folder. Now the vanilla cardstock, you have to fold in half, kind of like it's the full card, but then you have to turn it over, and so it's opening towards the right. This is going to be awkward because that's not usually how we open this card, but when we're putting it onto the inside of this card, it is opening to the right. Okay, so you want to make sure your leaves are on the right section. So opening to the right, tuck it in here. One piece will go inside the card and one will go on the back. Then we will roll this through. So. And we are ready to start assembling. Okay, piece number 1 is going to be that gorgeous base. We do need to fold that and give it a nice burnish right here. And then we've got its opposite piece, the vanilla. So these two pieces get to go together. We're going to put the vanilla on top of the brown. So we want adhesive all over this part here. 1 and 2. Go. So I can fold my card up and just put it gently onto, you can put it kind of right beside the fold. You don't have to put it right on top. But there's the inside of the card at the moment. So when it folded over, this is what it would look like. Okay, so that you have something to write on. If you're interested, you can cut 2 more pieces of early espresso and vanilla. They're going to measure 4 by 5 1/4 for the early espresso, and 3 3/4 by 5 for the vanilla. And I might as well just add those 2 pieces to the inside right now. Just makes it easy for them to be in there. We'll work from the inside out. You definitely could just write on the vanilla if you prefer, but I thought it looked really nice to have that extra layer, or perhaps you'd even stamp something from the Autumn Trees bundle. Oops, too far over. There we go. This guy on the inside now. There we go. Okay, are you ready to add your tree? It's going to be very easy, okay? Close your card up, grab your little tree here, see, this guy, and we're going to put some glue just on the back of the tree, okay? You want to make sure you're getting, all those edge sections, so get the tree trunk, get some of the leaf sections, basically a nice light layer of white glue all over the back of this guy here, okay? Now we're ready, because this is closed, to basically put this right inside the silhouette. It will fit perfectly because we chopped it out of there, and then it's exactly where it needs to be. So if you can, just lift this out of the way for a second and make sure all of these sections are tamped down nicely. You can let that dry for a couple seconds. It doesn't need long. And then you can come in and bring some dimensionals onto the back of your fancy foil piece. So dimensionals, I would suggest the mini ones because they're gonna fit nicely in these little spaces on the leaf backs. If you did the large ones, you'd probably want to cut some pieces, and in fact with the mini ones you might even have to cut a few, but I think we should be good if we just concentrate on these larger sections of the leaves. Most of those dimensionals will hide right where we need them to be. One more? We'll do one more right here. There you go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, whoops. 4, there we go. Oh, these are not coming off today for me. There. I'm trying to beat one of my kids coming in and asking me for something because they're home again. Yay, summer 2.0 because of teachers' strike. But we are definitely in favor of supporting those teachers, so we're okay. We'll be fine. Okay, next thing, we're gonna grab our deer, and this is getting popped up on the dimensionals just at the bottom of the card here. You don't want any dimensionals under the deer because they're gonna accidentally close your card if you touch on the tree trunk. So just on this bottom section is where you're gonna add dimensionals. You can use some of these edge pieces if you'd like, because might as well use them. Put them to good use, and they'll come off just in nice big chunks. 2 and 3. Okay, the last thing, and this part is completely optional, is a sentiment if you want one. So the Autumn Trees stamp doesn't have a sentiment that complements it. And I didn't, in fact, find any in the suite that I thought would work. So I went to my stash on my shelf and I pulled out a couple older sets. This is called Delicate Forest. Basically, you're looking for anything with a nice long sentiment. I found something fancy because that one has happy birthday and congratulations. You can grab whatever you want, but I just liked this. You make the good things better. Maybe you want some sort of fall sentiment in there too. Whatever works for you, just something nice, long, and skinny. So you need a piece of Very Vanilla for that. You can either, like I did here, emboss your sentiment in copper, but I wanted to show you how similar pecan pie ink looks to actually an embossed look too. So I've got my nice skinny stamp and I've got pecan pie ink. This is cut at 1/4 inch by 3 3/4, but you can adjust that if you have a shorter sentiment as well. You might not want all of the vanilla in there. Okay, oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's see if I can get that centered. You make the good things better. See? Look how similar that looks. It looks fantastic. So if you don't have the embossing, you can still tie this in and it looks great. I'm putting this piece on flat. So because my glue is out, I might as well just do a few dots of that. It's quite skinny, so your seal might not work so well with it. But we're going to add this into the center on the bottom of our card here. You make the good things better. And because I chose to use glue, I need to now let that sit once again. But when it's done, you can see it just pops open into this gorgeous fall card that you could use for a birthday. It's a nice masculine color scheme. So if you need something for retirement or congratulations, or maybe just an encouragement card for somebody, I hope that you give it a try. If you have any questions, please reach out. We do have a great starter kit promotion going on right now. So if you're thinking, hey, maybe I want to try this out and be on your team, please message me for details. I've also put them in the description on the video. And subscribe to my channel because I post every Tuesday and every Thursday for you guys. So I hope you're following along and you get so many crafting ideas. Thank you for stamping with me, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And for my fellow Canadians, happy Thanksgiving. Bye.